After 5 years of trying in the XC1 Pro Division, Bryson Neal is finally a winner in Grand National Cross Country Racing. Now that he has win number 1, are the floodgates open for more? GNCC Racing is next.
Are you ready to go GNCC Racing?
Round number 4 of the AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Series coming your way from Morganton, North Carolina. 20 years we've been racing here, not too far from the scenic Blue Ridge Parkway. I'm Jason Wygant to give you the call. This is the FMF Steele Creek GNCC. Let's go back to our previous event with our AMSOIL race recap round 3 in Georgia. Now, defending series champion Walker Fowler dominated the first 2 races of the year. Starts off second behind the number 4 of Chris Borich. Early gets shuffled to third, but that's not a problem. These are 2-hour races. But a crash in the first lap would set him way back, and now the door is open for a new winner. Bryson Neal looking to take advantage. Chris Borich all over him. Neal going for his first ever win. Borich is the all-time leader in career GNCC victories. And what a great racetrack they had to battle it out on. This monster mile. Borich putting on a huge push through the moguls to try to get next to him by the exit before they funnel back into that single trail you see that leads them into the woods. But Neal would just edge out the veteran, leaving Borich with only the final field sections to try to make the moves. And Borich has won a lot of races in this very situation, bumping and banging his way through the final turns, trying everything in his bag of tricks. But Neal was not to be denied and would just come out on top with the first victory of his career. Borich, you see back there frustrated, hasn't won one of these in a couple of years now. That might have been his best shot at it. Meanwhile, Fowler, 5th, his worst finish in 2 years. So can Neal do it again today?
Going into last night, the weather was looking pretty bad. You know, our thoughts coming into the weekend was a survival race. It looked like it's going to be forecasted to rain all day, and just not do anything dumb and avoid a major upset, you know, and lose all kinds of points. But the weather's came around today. It's changed, it looks like. Hopefully the rain holds off. It looks like it's going to be perfect. So really, now the game's changed. It's all systems go. Let's get the start and let's run fast and try to get up there 1 or 2 spots today.
And there is Neal saluting the fans here in North Carolina. And a good crowd gathered here at the start of the Steele Creek Campground. And there is Fowler. Amazing that a one single 5th place finish is cause for alarm, but it has definitely boosted the confidence of the rest of this XC1 Pro Pack. Now it's time to run through the woods for 2 hours. The Steele Creek GNCC is underway. Cole Richardson gonna grab the $250 Wiseco Hole Shot Award. Good to see Richardson of the Amp Pro Yamaha back and healthy and strong. Was a rising star in this series a few years ago and has had pretty much anything you can deal with on the physical side to deal with the last few years. But he's back. He's got Walker Fowler second, a couple other riders stacked up. Now we're back for XC2, the up-and-coming stars of the sport, banging their way through the first turn. Almost came to a stop there. And it's Matthew Lindell who's going to come out with the All Balls Racing Hole Shot Award. Getting those GBC tires hooked up barely, though, on a very slick surface. From here, they're going to make a right-hander, and you see the track start splitting off into the woods. Let's see if they can avoid the collisions that we saw on XC1. Good job, boys. Meanwhile, Cole Richardson, look at the speed that he is running out front over Fowler. Now, this track is pretty fresh. They will run over it with a bulldozer to try to clear out some of the lines and get some of the mud off the track. We had racing earlier in the day with their amateurs, but now it's time for the pros to cut their own lines in the woods. And we're set up for great racing today.
The AMSOIL GNCC series on the NBC Sports Network is brought to you in part by AMSOIL, the first in synthetics. Rocky Mountain ATV MC, get ready. And by Monster Energy, unleash the beast.
We're back. It's the Steele Creek GNCC by FMF. AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Series. Cole Richardson, the Cole train, out front with Walker Fowler right behind him. These used to be teammates on Ampro Yamaha. Then Fowler has formed his own team now. But they're still pretty good buddies, I'd imagine, off the track. Adam McGill up to third. You never know what kind of start you're going to get from McGill, but when he starts up front, he's very, very quick. Then another Yamaha coming through. That's Neil. So fourth place for our winner last week. Look at these conditions. Devin Feehan on the number 9 at the top of the hill. Now this is really the first race of the season each year where the riders deal with a lot of elevation change. The flatlands of the first couple of tracks, we had some hills in South Carolina, our opener, but the last 2 tracks relatively flat. And meanwhile, Cole Richardson not flat energy-wise today after dealing with an illness and all sorts of problems the last few years. He's getting better and better and continues to maintain the lead.
Having a year off and then going into the season, I didn't want to get my confidence too high because I knew it could either go one way or the other, and we weren't quite where I wanted to be, but it was still in my head. I didn't expect too much, so we still did decent. And you know, in my head, I was like, I'll give it the first 3 rounds and we should be there. And you know, the third race, we was there. So hopefully this race, I mean, confidence is there, fitness is getting better every race. So there's no reason every race we should be progressing forward. And if the pattern stays correctly, we should be on the podium. So hopefully we can make that happen.
Well, looking good right now for a podium, but it is a long race and a rough racetrack. And it hit a big pile of whoops right here. Watch this. And these two have pulled away from everyone else. They are absolutely pushing it. McGill is no slouch back here in third. Like I said, usually you give McGill a good start, and he'll run a blistering pace. Uh-oh, Fowler has now gotten the lead from Richardson, and that is bad news for everyone else. You've got to figure he's motivated. Fowler knows how to win these titles. You cannot give anyone daylight. You can't let him have a breath of air. One bad race for him could really get the confidence rolling for everyone else. So Fowler is trying to reestablish himself as the man in this series. Let's see what Richardson has under the hood. And same for McGill, second and third. Can they keep him in sight? I think we have Feehan and Boric battling it out. That'd be around 5th place because you also have Neil in 4th. Here's Neil. He's already hit the next section. This is a real steep climb. Not much run out at the bottom. No problem for him. So this battle continues. Awesome run early on for the number 9, one of the young riders in this XC1 pack. And he is riding very well right now.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely getting used to being up here with these big dogs here. You know, I've been riding and training in the wet and snow, mud all winter long. So, you know, first motor of the year, I guess you could call it. I feel like I'm prepared for it, and the biggest part for me is definitely going to be a good start. I've been getting better and better each weekend, so I hope to, you know, I really want to be up there, you know, in the top 5, top 10, obviously, in the start, and just run with that front pack and watch them ride. And hopefully I could adjust my riding to their pace and really just follow and learn from them, and eventually I'll be able to be comfortable at that pace.
Well, that's exactly how you do it. It takes a long time to figure this game out. Even Fowler, all the talent he had coming through the youth and amateur ranks, even getting that first win at the hands of veterans like Boric was not easy. So Feehan's learning from Boric today in a battle for 5th. It's the same thing with Richardson here in 2nd. He is now trying to key off of Fowler, and McGill has now caught them. So we have a 3-rider battle for the lead developing now. McGill starting to feel it on the Honda. We're into the Walker Fowler Racing pit. Got some fresh goggles, full tank of fuel. And they're trying to just wipe some of the mud off the helmet. Everything gets so heavy, you can even take a couple ounces off of your helmet. You're going to feel a lot better by the end of the race. But really making the riders feel good, the Kurt Caselli Foundation, founded in the honor of the memory of Kurt Caselli, who was lost in a crash at the Baja 1000, donating a new piece of safety equipment to the races.
Kurt Caselli Foundation is donating something that's very special to us. The foundation is all about safety for off-road, to protect and serve the lives of off-road riders. And the foundation was formed in 2014, along with Kurt's mom, sister, and fiance. This is kind of our first forte diving into the East Coast, and we figured what better of a partner to have than the GNCC series, the largest off-road racing series in the United States. As you can see behind me, we're pretty excited. This Kawasaki Mule that you see here We've donated to the GNCC series, completely outfitted with medical backboard in the back that the paramedics, when they get here to the facility, they can go ahead and take this mule, and it allows them to access different points to get to injured riders if that's in case what happens. We couldn't be here without the support of all the off-road community, the donations that come in. We love you guys and the work that we do every day. It means a lot.
And you can see it means a lot to a lot of the racers on hand. There's always ambulances and paramedics at the races, but that mule is going to make their job that much easier if there's trouble out on the track. No troubles right now, though. Walker Fowler leading. He's got Cole Richardson and Adam McGill trying to chase him down. Well over 2,000 ATV and dirt bike racers competing this weekend at the FMS Steele Creek GNCC. It's a cool program to help cut back on the lines. Let's sign up.
In our third year of the Rocky Mountain ATV MC Race Gas program, and already $160,000 went into the pockets of GNCC families in year one, $180,000 in year two, and already in year three, we've exceeded $60,000 back into the pockets of GNCC families for a grand total of nearly $410,000. By year end, $500,000 will have gone back to GNCC racing families. Hats off to Rocky Mountain ATV.
We really feel like it's important to give back to the racers because, you know, that's the core of our business. I mean, they're out there, they're using, they're riding, they're breaking stuff, and if we can help them out a little bit, you know, it just, you know, we've got to keep our community healthy, and we feel like that's the best way to give back to our community.
Well, we had a less than clean and easy race on the bike side this weekend. This is the final lap. Thad Duvall on the 989 to the number one. Your defending champ, Caleb Russell, dueling. Russell has won all the races this year. Duvall's finally got a shot to take him down. Here it is into the final corners. Russell takes one last swing at it, misses the line that he wants, and Thad Duvall gets it done. He's finally over the hump and has a victory in 2018. And these two have been putting on spectacular battles all year long. But Duvall's got to be happy to finally come out on top of one of them. But man, it was not easy. Russell disappointed in second.
You know, I would get the lead and a lapper would mess me up and he would get the lead, and luckily I got the good end of the stick on the last lap. Like with 2 miles to go, a lapper kind of bobbled us both up and I was able to go around, and then it was a dogfight to the end. I think just the last field section I was so nervous because I know Caleb's a little bit better with me in the field, so I just I was riding so hard, and it feels good to win straight up. So, you know, it was a good day for sure.
So we have ourselves a real championship duel brewing in the bike side of the GNCC ledger. We're back to our ATV coverage right now. Fowler just stretching it a bit over Richardson and McGill. Haven't really seen anyone play their hand yet. How hard are they going to go to try to keep Fowler in sight? This is a very manageable gap right now. If you're Richardson or McGill, you're close enough. See, one little mistake, the lap rider, and they're already right there. So this is exactly where you want to be. And there's nowhere for Fowler to go. So this is the chance, even for McGill in third, to get right up on the leader. Fowler quickly trying to put the hammer down and pull back away. And that ebb and flow, or the accordion effect, as the lead gets big and then it shrinks and then it gets larger again, that is what Duvall and Russell were dealing with on the bike side, and that's what we've got in the ATV. And another lap rider and a not so great line choice by Fowler, who is just trying to anticipate where to go. That could put Richardson right behind him again. Working their way back into the woods. You see that really shiny dirt there? That is slick. That is like riding on ice. And you'll hear the machines hit the rev limiter from wheel spin when you hit those areas. And then other parts of the track that got great dirt. This is called Steele Creek Campground for a reason. There is a creek that runs down the middle of it, and the track will run along the side of it. And the creek bed is actually pretty sandy, and there's great traction there. Now look, Fowler's stuck. He can't even go because the other rider, and well, discretion not the better part of valor. Is Fowler waiting, or is he actually have a problem? Look at McGill. McGill saying, I'm not waiting at all. I'm going to make a new line. And it worked. McGill is going to skip from third to first, and he'll have a gigantic lead to boot. Richardson and Fowler, they've gotten stuck. Richardson taking evasive action, actually doing a U-turn. Fowler trying to get out, all because of one lap rider. Let's see if Richardson can climb this hill. He's got it. It looks like Fowler gets to the top, but the benefactor big time is McGill, who usually I feel does his best work at the front of the pack, but today third was the place to be. Well, it's shaken up here in the woods of North Carolina. Is there time for Richardson or Fowler to catch McGill? Once he's out front, he's awfully hard to catch.
The AMSOIL GNCC series on the NBC Sports Network is brought to you in part by AMSOIL, the first in synthetics, Rocky Mountain ATV MC, get ready, and by Monster Energy, unleash the beast.
Well, the McGill Mafia is cheering right now. Their man, Adam McGill, out front. Got the CST tires hooked up. Show you how he did this. So Fowler tries to be smart about it. He sees another rider stuck on this hill. He's trying to figure out which way to go. But I think he actually got stuck by stopping there. Cole Richardson, 733, says, I'm going to go around. Nope, there's nowhere to go. He's clearing his roll-offs. And here comes a third-place rider, McGill, and says, I'll just make a new line. Look at this on the left. I don't think anyone else even considered going that way. And there is a risk. Obviously, McGill could have gotten stuck or tumbled back down the hill. But when you're in third place, it's worth the risk to try to get the lead. And now it's up to McGill to try to run and hide. Now here we are down by that creek bed that I'm talking about. Totally different soil conditions down here, not just the mud. But even the dry parts are pretty sandy, and that leads to some big whoops. And then the woods here are a little bit more shiny clay. It's hard to get traction. That is just polished up. But McGill, the very fun-loving man out of West Virginia, always hooting and hollering at our cameras, waving to the fans. I don't know how the guy can ride this serious and this intense and still have such a great time while doing it. Meanwhile, time is running out for Richardson or Fowler to make a charge. There's Fowler getting held up by lap traffic again. He has definitely not eaten up Richardson and McGill once he lost the lead. But as we're into this field section, it looks like Richardson is the one who has answered the challenge. Not too much racing left. He's going to leave it all out there on the track, and he's close to the rear tires of McGill, and you can see the pit crews cheering. No reason to stop at this point. We're down to the final couple of corners. Richardson has never won one of these overall, and he's trying to get it, and Fowler is right there as well in third. There is barely any traction to hold on to, and these guys are pushing as hard as they can. Oh, and McGill almost off the track, but he's going to hold on and take his first win of 2018, and Richardson second in another great race. Here's Adam.
They had a bottleneck back there, like one of these ravines right after the finish, and they were all checked up in it. And there's a guy on a 250R there. I gave him a fist bump and I climbed the steepest, muddiest hill they got here. Hit it on this thing, barely got to the top. My CST tires pulled great, and when I got in the lead, I'm like, all right, I know I can maintain 20, 30 seconds because nobody was pulling in anybody. And I knew if I got off the other side across the bridge, I knew that I don't think they could pass me. The only way they passed me, they stuffed me in one of these turns. I think Cole tried, but man, when you're on, you're on. I felt good, and I don't want to jinx me, but maybe we'll get one more here in 2 weeks.
Well, that's McGill, man. When he is on, he is hard to stop, and he was today. That's a very encouraging ride for Richardson in second, Fowler third, Neal and Boric rounding out the top five. Let's recap this one. It's all brought to you by AMSOIL. So Richardson, the coal train, gets the whole shot over Fowler, and they kind of set sail and cruised out front the first lap or two. And then Fowler would eventually grab the lead, but lap traffic was there to stop him at every turn. That's why Richardson was able to stay close. Then this decision backfired. Fowler tried not to charge up the main line while waiting for the lap rider. Richardson, I'm sure, is like, what are you waiting for? Oh, yeah, there's nowhere to go. So here comes Adam McGill in third. He says, I will just make a new line. And as he said, the steepest, muddiest hill climb they've got here, and he struggles and fights and gets to the top. nothing that the two Yamaha riders stuck at the bottom could do about it. Richardson charged so hard to close in at the end, and then Fowler joined him, and all three riders had a shot at it. McGill stuffs it in the berm in the last corner fast enough to hold them at bay. But for Richardson, second has to feel like a win.
I feel amazing. You know, we got off to a great start, actually. Only my second hole should I ever got in XC1, and I tried to do a walker and started sprinting from the beginning. I knew the track, there wasn't a lot of places to pass, and he actually got a line on me, and I was like, you know, as long as we can stay on his bumper, we should be all right. And, you know, that worked out, and I saw McGill creeping up, and, you know, I just tried to stay where I was, and just to try to get it on the podium. You know, with wrist surgery last year and missing the whole season and being able to come back, you know, we've progressed really well, and we're at round 4 and we put it on the box. So I was really pumped about last week, and we ended up 4th, and I was 26 seconds from winning. And I was like, oh, that's the closest I ever was to winning. I don't even know what it was there, but probably a second. So, you know, I'm definitely pumped. A podium was my goal, and even to get second, I'm really happy with it.
You know, last season, Walker Fowler won all but one race. And as you watch this Rocky Mountain ATV MC rapid replay, this ravine section again, you realize how difficult that is. There are so many variables to deal with and so much competition. We now have Richardson getting back on his game, Bryson Neal winning the last one, McGill winning today. The competition is definitely giving Walker Fowler their best shot every weekend. Pretty disappointed to let it slip away, but he did talk to us after the race.
We had that one in the bag. I thought every time I'd get away, I'd get a lapper that just made my day very difficult. Everyone would get tight. I had a little bit of a goggle malfunction. It's been years since I had one of those. Our goggle program is as good as they get, and man, the film broke on the starting line. And a mile and a half in, 2 mile marker or so, come up to a hill. I'm in the ruts, committed, and there's a guy sitting there just hanging out. And so, you know, I stayed at the bottom of the hill, but I was already in the ruts. I couldn't get out. Cole jumped in front of me, kind of blocked me. I couldn't go anywhere. He was able to get spun around, and then Adam finally come around, and he saw both of us sitting in the ruts. He jumped over, made his own line, and off he went. Definitely put a good 45 seconds on us, I bet. We sat there forever, it felt like. It was just one of those races that today paid to be in the back.
Yes, not normally the way McGill does it, but it worked for him, and he's on the board in 2018. It's going to be a great season. Keep on watching here on Racer TV. I'm Jason Wygant. Congrats to our winner, Adam McGill.